Oh hey, Moral Orel. I haven't seen this show in forever. I wonder if it's as good as I remember. Oh no. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready at all. Please, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. Moral Orel is a stop-motion animated show that ran on Adult Swim from 2006 to 2008. It lasted 3 seasons and 43 episodes. However, it was canceled in its 3rd season. It was originally supposed to last for 5 seasons, but the network decided to shut the show down for reasons we'll get to in actually just a little bit. Its creators, Konstantinos Dino Stamatopoulos, I hope I pronounced that correctly, I probably didn't, actually has quite a story. He not only created this show, but he also created Mary Shelley's Frankenhole, another stop-motion animated show on Adult Swim. But that's not all. He created the studio Starburn Industries with Dan Harmon of Rick and Morty fame. In fact, the studio animated the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty, so that's pretty cool. Well, what is Moral Orel about? Well, it stars Orel Puppington, a young, devout Christian who misinterprets advice given to him by the awful adults of Moralton, Statesona. At first, anyways. The formula gets mixed up a little bit later on, but we'll get there when we get there. The first season is actually considered the worst by many of the show's fanbase, and I can kinda see why. This show has kind of 2 different states of existing. There is Moral Orel before continuity mattered, and Moral Orel after continuity mattered. And oh boy, does continuity start to matter. In fact, the first season had a much more whimsical tone to it starting out. Like in the very first episode, Orel raises the dead with the Necronomicon, and it's just kinda played off in episode 2.
Okay, here goes nothing. I conjure thee by the fire of Gira, and by the lights of Shamash, in the name of the covenant, come and rise up before me! Ia Masaratu, Bagaloma Kia! That doesn't sound very Protestant, Orel. Well, at least it's not Catholic. Catholic. Orel. Hot dog.
Hey, you kids, what are you doing here after hours? What the?
Thank you, O Lord, for this bounty.
You can't be running around like that!
Grandpa, no!
By the way, episode 2 of season 1 is my favorite episode of season 1, just for this scene alone.
Oh.
There's just something about that smile that kills me every time I see that scene. The show has a pretty cut and paste formula for the first season until the last episode, really. But the cool thing about this show is, even if there's a general formula, as the show goes on, you start to learn more about these characters and their personalities get a little bit darker. For example, Clay, maybe the most hated character in the show by the fanbase, actually started out pretty funny, and you wouldn't even be able to tell that Clay from the season 2 finale is the same guy. So, like I said, there's a bit of a formula for season 1, so I'm just gonna run it down for you, and you guys can tell me if this sounds like every single episode. Orel gets advice.
It's not a sin if the seeds are used to make babies.
Exactly.
I see.
Just remember, you're a good-looking kid. You don't need to resort to the pathetic, humiliating task of self-pleasure.
But Reverend Putty, how would I actually go about procreating with my sperm so that I can make babies?
I don't know. Okay, I'm punching out.
Orel misinterprets advice.
Uh-huh.
Why?
So I can masturbate and go to heaven. It's God's plan.
And how are you gonna get it inside the ladies?
Joey, don't you ever listen? All I do is sneak into their houses while they're sleeping and squirt my sperm into them.
Squirt into where? How?
Gosh, I'm not really sure. Well, I guess I'll just have to have faith that God will show me the way. All I need is this holy pastry bag and my seed.
Orel does something really heinous.
Oh.
Oral's dad finds out and punishes him.
Him from here, Don.
Well,
To my study.
Oral's dad tells him why he was punished, but it's never for the reason he should have been punished.
That doesn't explain why you were out past curfew.
But Dad, how else was I gonna be God's chef? Ladies needed to be asleep for me to shoot my yummy contents into them.
You're not supposed to be God's chef, Oral. God's chef is only a whimsical fella like Santa or Charles Darwin.
Come on, Pop. I'm too old to believe in that stuff.
Worthless piece of sugar!
All because I didn't want to sin by spilling my seed and not procreating.
Is that what this is all about?
Yeah, I had a little talk with Reverend Putty.
I see. Well, Oral, I think I'm partially to blame for all of this. You see, by not trusting you enough to tell you the truth about procreation, I led you astray as to how God would want you to give women babies.
What do you mean, Dad?
Well, I mean, the good Reverend was right. Spilling your seed wastefully is a sin, but it's also a sin to procreate in odd, exciting ways. Men and women have only one holy position, and that's called the missionary position.
The missionary position?
Yes, it's the most loving and satisfying position the Bible has to offer.
And that's every episode from season 1 except the finale. So I'm just gonna glance over them and I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you what happens in the episodes and why he's punished and all that. So let's just get into it. Episode 1. Oral gets told the biggest sin is to give up the gift of life. Fair. Oral raises the dead with the Necronomicon. Okay. Clay punishes him for taking off dead people's clothes and making them nude because it's a sin to be nude. Huh? Episode 2. Oral gets told masturbation is a sin. Okay. Oral masturbates into a turkey baster and inserts it into women so the sperm isn't wasted and it's not a sin. So Clay beats Oral for it not being in missionary position. So it's like that, and we get all the way down to episode 9, which is the last kind of formulaic episode of this season. Episode 9. Oral gets told to behave more like an adult. Fair. Oral behaves like one of the Moralton adults who are all pretty well bad people with a few exceptions. So Clay beats him because, well, here's his little reasoning right here.
I don't know what's gotten into you lately, young man. My talks just don't seem to be helping.
But Dad, I thought I was doing what you wanted.
Why on earth would I ever want you to take my precious alcoholic beverages?
Because you wanted me to be more adult.
Oral, drinking on a daily basis is not the only way to be an adult.
Well, I tried not talking about my feelings too.
Oh, son. Behaving like a grown-up is many things. First and foremost, it means doing things that you hate doing.
Like what, Pop?
Well, like dealing with people who make you unhappy, being stressed about things you have no control over, and working soul-numbing jobs.
Oh.
Then, gradually, as we endure these hardships and accept them as normal, that's when we've finally earned the right to get drunk and be emotionally distant from our families.
Just like my father. I love you, Dad.
I'm hungry too. Let's go eat.
In fact, this is the first episode in the series to actually start hinting at darker themes. When Oral's parents get into a fight this episode, there's no comedic elements to stop it. It just happens and then it's over, but you kinda feel like there's still some dread there.
La 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 la.
That kid gets more action than I do.
I am still weaning him, Clay.
Blaberta, he's 7. He should not be using your milk to wash down his meatloaf, which I pay for by working that stinking dead-end job.
I am so sick of your complaining. Why don't you just quit your job and quit being such a crybaby?
Oh, thanks for the sympathy. You have never been on my side.
Why would I be on the side of a self-destructive alcoholic?
I can't believe I give you the privilege of satisfying me every night. Son of a...
Well, speaking of the adults, here's the important ones of season 1 who get pretty well good roles. You got Clay, Oral's abusive father.
Why? I mean, yes?
Blauberta, Orel's mother, who is distant and obsessed with cleanliness,
Clean. Hey, Mom, I need to talk to you.
Can't you talk to your father? I'm very busy. These cleaning products are filthy.
Reverend Putty, the church's reverend, who gives out most of the lessons to Orel.
Anyway, when a man and woman are joined together in holy matrimony, they become one and pray as one, and that cuts down on the crazy amount of prayers out there. So I say unto you, husbands, be good to your wives. Give them what they need, and the kingdom of heaven will be at hand.
And Coach Stopfrain, Orel's bisexual track coach, who's in love with Clay but had an affair with Blauberta. He's actually a Satanist and a Christian and kind of goes back and forth depending on what he needs.
It's your lucky day, Curly. You've been saved by a beverage. Okay, God, I'm back.
So, like I said, season 1 is pretty formulaic, but episode 10 switches it up a bit. In this episode, it's a Christmas episode titled The Best Christmas Ever, but it turns out to not be the best Christmas episode. The best Christmas ever, not best Christmas episode. So Clay and Blauberta actually get into a fight this episode, and it turns out really bad. Clay is worried that Shapey, Orel's 7-year-old baby brother, isn't his. And he isn't. Clay is right on this.
Are you decent?
Hold on. Okay.
Well, that was a mortifying sermon today.
Oh, come on. Can't we have one good night?
You know the Reverend was referring to you not wanting Shapey.
That's ridiculous. How would he even know?
Don't be an idiot. Everyone knows you didn't want him.
Yeah, well, I had my reasons. I think it's kinda strange that I don't even remember conceiving this kid.
Please, when do you ever remember?
All I do is try to forget. At least you know he's yours.
How did we even get here?
Look, just get over it.
How can I get over it? I never asked for a second child, and then boom, Shapey magically appears. Explain that. Oh, he doesn't even look anything like me. Who's been inside you?
You are disgusting. I want a divorce.
Fine, I'm gone. Live it up, baby!
Go.
Orel ends up actually staying outside to search for him until about midnight because his mom told him to if he wanted to find his dad or if he wanted to leave.
What are you two doing?
Mom, guess what? Dad isn't Shapey's father.
I know that, Orel.
Then you figured it out. Are Shapey's the second son of God?
I wish God was his father.
Where's Dad?
He left home. We're splitting up.
But it's Christmas. We can't spend it without him.
Then I suggest you go find your precious father and the two of you spend Christmas together.
Boy, God, this sure didn't turn out to be the best Christmas ever. But you still have 2 minutes left, and I have faith in you.
And that's whenever there's a turning point in the series. Things get a lot darker from now on. And we'll get to there in episode 2 of this retrospective. So, I hope you guys like it. I hope you like this little review on it. And if you did, click that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified for episode 2 of this little review series. And I'll see you guys there. That should be up in a couple days. I'm hoping I get it done in a couple days. So I'll see you then. Alrighty, bye-bye.